Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Movie Battlegrounds. I am not Aaron Knoll. I am a guest host for today, Madi Raymond, and we have a really fun match for you guys today. We have a couple of competitors who are both 3-3, both of them looking to get back into the win column and hopefully leave the other guy in the dust. So I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to bring on our first competitor here, and you guys might know him as JPO. But his real name is actually Jordan Owens. So, Jordan, I'm going to bring you on screen. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I mean, JPO is just my initials. So, I mean, it's both.
The longest time, I didn't know that Tato was not Tato's real name.
You thought that poor man's mother named him Tato?
I honestly, everyone called him Tato. I was like, oh, that's probably just this dude's name. But same with you, man. I thought it was like, oh, it's like JPO something. I don't know what it stands for. But
Pierce, middle name Pierce is where that
there you go.
P is.
How you doing?
But no, I'm good, brother, man. Happy to be here. Happy to see you. I didn't know you were hosting. So yeah, no, happy to be here. It's one of those odd debates too, where I'm facing someone I really like in Alec. So
you know, if we've lost me or if we've lost him.
Oh, I'm good again. No, I'm good. It's one of those odd fights where I am facing someone that I really like in Alec. So you know what I mean. It's going to be really awkward at the family reunion when I destroy him.
Might have a little bit of a little extra flavor at the family reunion. Going into this match, you're 3-3. Obviously, you want to come out with the win, and you know you've had some tough losses in your career so far. But what are your thoughts going into this match? How confident are you? Are you like 100%, or are you like, oh, this is going to be a barn burner 50-50?
Well, I mean, even if I thought it was 50-50, I would never tell you nor the judges that. So 100%.
That's what I love to hear, man. That's the way to go about it. Hey, I'll talk to you in a minute. We're going to bring out your competitor, who Jordan did just mention. It is Alec Miller. So, Alec, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. It's been a while since I've been in the debate ring, so I'm excited to get back into it.
All right, man. And again, like JPO, and as your record says down below, you're also 3-3. So this win would put you in the win column. What do you think about your chances going into this?
Yeah, it's a weird record. I'm batting 500, but I've knocked out 2 of the 3 wins that I have. It's
I don't make
the
rules, like man. I don't know how to work.
Some luck, I guess. No, I love Jordan. He I love JPO. We played a couple times in a show about trivia and all that. So it's gonna be cool to face him in the debate ring. Like he said, this could be like a family reunion. We might just end up talking about movies up here. We might not even be arguing. You never know. You know
what? I think you guys just do what you guys think is necessary, and then the judges will figure out the stuff later.
Exactly. It's not up to really deliver the goods. They gotta judge it. They gotta figure.
They gotta judge it. They gotta figure out what's going on. All right, I'm gonna send you back to the back for now, and I'm gonna go over the rule. Oh, I guess we're just bringing them both on. I don't make.
Hi.
How you doing? All right, so we're gonna go over the rules real quick. You guys both had 6 matches, but we're gonna go over them anyways. So, Movie Battlegrounds is the best of 5. Player 2-3 points wins the match. Each round is worth 1 point. If you get 3 points in a row, you win by knockout, which both gentlemen here have done already. And if you get a tie after round 4, that activates the blind round. I fucking hate the blind round. So let's see how you guys do if we get that far. There's another screen that's supposed to come up. All right. Regulations goes from round 1 to 4. Each round has different stages. Stage 1 is your 60-second opening. Stage 2, your 2-minute solo pitch. After that is where we get into the meat and potatoes. You guys have 4 minutes of open debate time where you guys can bark at each other as much as you want, talk about The Last of Us. And then you have the last 60 seconds to close. After that, the judges will deliberate. We have 3 judges here today, myself, Chris Diaz, and Zach. So we will be deciding who gets the point each round, and whoever gets the most points wins. It's pretty straightforward. You guys will figure it out. Are you guys ready to just go?
As a wise man once said, get her done.
Wise is a good choice of words for that one.
Gandhi, right? It was Gandhi, right? Gandhi?
Yeah.
Gandhi or
Churchill. My bad.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Churchill said that. Get her done is a famous British Prime Minister quote. All right, so we're going to get started, and we're going to go into question number 1. And question number 1 is, as I pull it up here, what is the best Will Smith film of the 2010s? Now, this question, for those of you who have been paying attention, has been previously used in Joe's match against Henry. Focus and Collateral Beauty are not acceptable answers.
Oh no, I was hoping to use Collateral Beauty.
I was going to use Focus.
I don't know what to tell you guys, but you guys have all of the other films that you did in the 2010s. All, 5 of them?
Yeah.
So you guys can have your way and pick which one you want to do. All right. So to start off, I think Jordan is going first in round 1. So Jordan, you're going to have 60 seconds. Timer starts when you start talking.
Let's do some stretching. Yeah, so I went with the for Will Smith in the 2010s. Suicide Squad, I believe it's the one without the, and it's obviously the one with Will Smith, because that's what the question is. This movie has really grown on me, man, upon rewatches, because it gets so much more right than wrong here. You know, even the Joker stuff, like they knew how to kind of scale that back here and put him in just enough. The people that shine here are Will Smith. He walks kind of a perfect line of a villain. He is straight up a villain, a dude who's ready to kill people, but he's got the daughter and he's kind of doing it for the right way. So it's that perfect line of you don't hate him, but you don't love him, and he walks that line perfectly. You get our first ever viewing of our girl Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and it is perfect, so much so that she got her own movie here. The movie's willing to take punches that a lot of other superhero movies aren't. It's a great ensemble. It's giving us other characters I'll get about here in a little bit here. So Suicide Squad is my pick for Willie Smith. And keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I was going to say it's going to come up in the second round, but all right, it came up right in the first 60 seconds. Alec, you're up next with your pick after Jordan picked Suicide Squad. What are you taking? Your 60 seconds starts when you start talking.
I'm a football fan. Most people in America are football fans. Most people, enjoy the footballs. So for my movie, I chose Concussion, which is the Will Smith film about the doctor who actually discovered CTE and the effects of CTE. It's one of those movies where even though yes, it plays around football, there's absolutely no football in the film. However, the film is an interesting story of kind of like David versus Goliath, this man who can topple this empire that we call the NFL, and the lengths that the NFL is willing to go to kill basically this man's career, and how he got to discovering CTE and all that stuff, and and how much that the NFL was hiding the truth about CTE. So that's why I went with Concussion.
All right, so 2 Will Smith films, Concussion and the Suicide Squad. Next up is the 2-minute round. JPO, are you able to talk with the cat there?
Yes, he moved so I could unmute myself, so yes.
All right, so you're up first with your 2 minutes, or your cat can take the 2 minutes, however you want to go.
He actually wanted Collateral Beauty, so I'll take it. So now just to kind of first expand upon my movie here, Suicide Squad. Again, it's the first time that we ever get to see characters like Margot Robbie, so much so that she got her own movie. Viola Davis is so good as Amanda, just the villain who you so want to see get taken down, but she's untouchable here. Even Jai Courtney, who I think had once upon a time was an actor that a lot of people were ready to write off and about to go make direct-to-DVD movies the rest of his life, but he has found a niche as these great character actors. And again, his character was brought back, and a lot of people were bummed that he was killed off so early in the sequel here. It pulls punches too. A lot of superhero movies don't. You know what I mean? They kill Slipknot right away, which is also kind of good because that band is horrible. but they kill him right away. They kill also Jay Hernandez's character right away, Diablo. It is something that you don't see coming because you think they're going to want to make toys. They're going to want to do sequels here. And you kind of are wondering exactly who's going to make it out to the very end here. It builds upon the universe they were building at the time. I love the Ben Affleck Batman cameo here. Yeah, I had so much fun with this. Even if you're in theaters, you had to wait until DVD or streaming for the intros where you could pause and learn more about all the characters here. Sinister Crocodile. It's a really fun movie. And Concussion is one that I didn't even think about because I think ultimately it's a movie that it tried to go for those Oscars. It didn't get a single one of them, not even nomination wise. It kind of beat you over the head, and it just felt too long, even though it's not even that long of a movie here. Because it's a better 20-minute documentary. It's a cool tale that's overdone Hollywood wise. They try to give you a fabricated story of kind of the stuff that maybe him and his wife went through, which evidently wasn't even really true in real life. So it's not one that I think really touched me or people remember or ever go back to. Suicide Squad is.
All right, and that's right on time. So, Alec, we're going to go to you next. 2 minutes starts when you start talking.
So, like I said in the first round, Concussion is the story of Dr. Benito Malu from Nigeria, who is by all meanings of the word a genius. He listed off 1,000,000 degrees, right? It's all about this man who has this curiosity for the world and just has to know how things work. Seems like he's more comfortable with dead bodies. That's a little weird, but it is what it is. I think most people who do autopsies are probably a little weird, but he he has this insane need for to discover why this man died, why he all of a sudden, who is a NFL football player, who died randomly, all these things happening, does something against a lot of people's wishes, dives deeper into this man's death and discovers CTE, which is probably at this point one of the biggest killers in the NFL, and finding out that the NFL is actually hiding this and all this stuff. It's a good story of one. It's telling people about this thing that people don't really know about. Yes, it's highly dramatized. It's a movie. They have to dramatize certain issues, certain points, but it really gets to the heart of what it is, of what this story is, and that heart is the fact that these men did not sign up for this, and the NFL is hiding it from him, and the lengths that a big giant corporation is willing to go to silence this man who discovers something that can topple their empire. Suicide Squad is a music video. It's a music video that it has these fancy jump cuts, this is awkward pacing. The actors who seem like they're trying their best that just cannot pull this script from the depths of what it is. And we'll get into more detail about why that is coming soon.
All right, and that is time. Now, yes, autopsy docs are a little off. That's completely fair. So now we're going to get into everyone's favorite round, the 4-minute open debate round. You guys will both have 4 minutes to argue back and forth as much as you like within that 4-minute time constraint. Talking about your movies, talking down about the other movie, however you guys want to play this. Time starts when one of you guys starts talking.
I agree with a couple of the last things you actually said, Alec. Your main character is a genius. He's also boring. This is a lot of talk, a lot of courtroom scenes, a lot of meetings. Nothing much really happens here. Mine is a music video. A gorgeous, interesting, engaging music video here, because that's what we want. We want a comic book come to life. We got our Harley Quinn. That checked off, so much so that we've had several films with her since. Your movie kind of came and went, man. Will Smith, everyone just thought on paper, oh, Will Smith, look at this tale that needs to be told, should be told. This thing is going to rack up, and it didn't. It went by. 0 Oscar nominations here, man. People have forgotten about this movie here. If you've seen it, I don't think you will ever go back to it. Have you gone back to it? And I think if you saw it once, you probably forgot about it a week later.
It's not an Oscar film, As
it's trying to be so hard. It wants to be though, man.
It went for it. It definitely did. But what it did land with is it had, you know, it had good acting. It had, you know, you had Alec Baldwin as Julian Bales, Albert Brooks. So I mean, who doesn't love Albert Brooks in anything he does? As the boss of Dr. Benedict Amalu, Will Smith. At times, yes, it does seem like he might be trying a little too hard to reach for that Oscar, which obviously he didn't get it. But to me, the where I really really helped the film for me was the performance of Gugu Mbatha Raw, who is the woman who eventually marries Dr. Benedict Amalu. And while that story, like you said, might not be like what actually happened in the movie, actually happened in the real life. When you're watching,
it's shoehorned in, yeah.
But when you're watching in the film, one, you don't know that, and two, it's one of those relationships. One, that's a relationship that grounds him. She has these like very subtle, beautiful moments with him that I think is because of the chemistry of both him and both Will Smith and Mbatha Raw. With Suicide Squad, it's like you said, it's a music video. You even admitted it's a music video. I didn't sign up to go see a music video. It's not.
You see the trailer, you know it's a music video because they put it to music here.
Well, then I would have went to see a music video where it failed because it's not a cohesive film. It's one of those things where it's like
so much more fun and engaging, though, man.
Whereas
this is a movie that people have gone to know and respect more, and go back even to Will Smith himself here, man. He's not right for this movie, acting wise, sure. But unfortunately, you casted a guy who has a very suspect and shaky Nigerian accent that does take you out of it as well. Another reason why I think he got overlooked, even though the moments are there, they didn't cast the right actor, I think, in your movie either, because they wanted to make a big Hollywood movie. If this was made on HBO, they probably would have just made the best actor, but instead here they went for the Hollywood-sized actor in Will Smith here, and it doesn't always work because of that.
No, and on Suicide Squad, you have Jared Leto. Yes, this should have been one of those things that knocked out of the park, but because of the direction of the film, the writing and all that, and the just the directing, and also Jared Leto's decisions, like how do you let that happen?
I've always agreed with that. I think if you look back on it too, he's going for something different, and they know that in the editing process as well. He's in it just enough to where you're never like, oh my god, why is this the Joker movie for a Joker? I'm not.
But doing something different does not excuse it for being bad. Just because
it's not bad though, it's for being bad.
Concussion went by the book. It went by everything.
It didn't always go by the book, which is the problem.
And no, it didn't nail it. It didn't knock you out of the park. But it's a cohesive film that you sit down, you enjoy from start to finish. You might not ever watch it again, but you leave that
totally. You're also ready for it to end.
Movie.
You know what it's. You know how it's going to end. Even if you don't know the real life story, you know how it's going to end.
But with Suicide Squad, I didn't want to see it in because I wanted to walk out of the damn movie theater.
I wish I never went to the movie theater.
Hang on now. Wait for your closing arguments here. All right, so that was the 4 minutes. Got a little heated, but that's what happens in the battlegrounds, and I'm sure this is going to have no effect on the family reunion when all that happens.
Battleground, where friendships come to an end.
All right, so we're going to go into the 60 seconds closing. Each of you guys will have the 60 seconds to sum up your arguments as best as you can. 60 seconds is going first to Jordan. So, Jordan, whenever you are ready, time starts when you start talking.
Looking at the list of movies to pick, I didn't even think about Concussion because I knew it was nothing that I could champion because it's hollow. It's a movie that is trying so hard to beat you over the head in courtroom scenes and in meetings, and we must do the right thing and yada yada. And it's just not that engaging here, man. It has a good story that could be better told in a 20-minute documentary than with a Hollywood actor who's not right for the accent and not right for the role here. Suicide Squad is kind of what you see from the trailer, and then tenfold and even better here. It has introduced characters that we have wanted more of. Even Will Smith himself, people are so upset that we haven't seen more of that character here because we want to revisit it. People champion him to be in the third Suicide Squad because we missed out on him here. We got the Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, who also on paper, you go, yeah, really? Wolf of Wall Street girl? Okay. And now we can't get enough of her. It is so much fun. It is engaging so much more, and it is something that I think everyone has gone back to at least want to see. Let me see that again. What do they say they do there? Where concussions, you're done right away.
All right. And Alec, close us out on this round with your 60 seconds. Time starts when you start talking.
It's funny, when I looked at the list of the films, I also looked at Suicide Squad and thought, I'm not going near that because I cannot champion that film as well. That film is mind-numbingly like it's annoying. It's trying to be this out of like Guardians of the Galaxy type of thing, but they're also trying to be edgy with the Joker and all that. It's just it's weird. It doesn't make any sense. It's not good at all. The performance from Jared Leto, most of the people usually you probably forget about. Yes, Margot Robbie is great, but Margot Robbie's great in most things. There's not much that you can't put in front of her that she can't knock out of the park. But other than that, there's not much to go on that film. It's a music video that really doesn't stand up at all. I think it's a poorly made movie. Being different does not give you the excuse to be bad. Concussion is a run of the mill is a run of the mill movie that reached for an Oscar, didn't get it, but it's still at the end of the day, you go, you know what, that was a good movie. I enjoyed the story, and then that was it.
And time. All right. Thanks, guys. We're going to send you guys to the back, and I will bring forward the judges. So, hell of a first round, guys. I'm sure we all agree. You guys look like you already have your boards ready. So, Diaz, I'm going to go to you first. Who gets your point this round and why?
This was an interesting round for many different reasons. Even though I personally hate this movie, I thought Jordan at least pulled an argument at least that made the movie sound better than what it was. I think his punching against concussion, like point story, and Will Smith trying to do after the wife scene. Even Alex agreed about the wife scene that kind of went Jordan's favor. Jordan Lee mentioned just a beautiful music video. That what the movie is. That Jordan.
All right. So, point one going to Jordan and Zach. Who gets your point and why?
I thought this was actually a very back and forth round that could have gone either way, but I also went with Jordan more because of he brought up the counter that concussion is kind of forgettable and very forgotten. He had some great counters against concussion, and then he actually kind of championed the whole music video comment, and I thought that really helped him for his argument.
All right, fair enough. So, thank you, judges. We'll see you guys again after round two. That brings the score up to 1-0 for Jordan so far, but it's not over yet. There's still at least 2 more questions to play. And speaking of that, second question: what classic horror franchise would make for the best indie horror reboot? Everyone loves reboots, right? They're all over the place. So, you guys were both asked what would be the best classic horror franchise to make the best indie reboot in that series, however you guys want to determine that. So this time we're going to go to Alec first. Not Alex, sorry. So Alec, time starts when you start talking.
So I might have shot myself in the foot with this one, but I'm going to try my best to argue it. I chose Hellraiser. I understand it just had a reboot. I understand that. And it was a fine reboot. When it comes to Hellraiser, what I think about is the practical effects, the makeup, the grotesqueness. That's what I enjoy. You know, the 80s and the 90s and all that. That's not what the reboot was, and to me, what Hellraiser screams with the practical effects, basically how cheap you can make this movie, that screams indie to me. With the reboot, it was just too modernized. The effects were not great. I don't like the fact that the Deadites are complete CGI. It was just weird and something that I didn't enjoy. So if I had to choose one franchise to remake and give an indie take, it would be Hellraiser.
All right, and that Alec picking Hellraiser, an interesting choice. Jordan, your 60 seconds introducing your choice for classic horror franchise that should be the best indie horror reboot.
Absolutely. I like this question. I'm going with basket case. Now, all the judges, there's one of two emotions the judges are having right now. Their first emotion is either A, hell yeah, or B, what? Because the Basket Case was a great franchise from the 80s. It was very 80s. It was very indie. It is about it's a young man. He carries around a big basket that contains his deformed Siamese twin brother, and they seek revenge on the doctors who separated them against their will. It's even when the film that kind of sparked *Malignant* a couple years ago, at least as far as like that kind of like Siamese twin coming back. But unlike *Malignant* here, this thing knows what it is, and this is why I think it's a great indie choice, because what you need, kind of like Alex said, but even more so, is some good practical effects, a decent cast, and maybe hopefully some good writing, and you have a great franchise. Because again, it is something that can build and build as the franchise goes, which I'll get more to later.
All right, and that is it for the opening round. So you guys are going to go into the 2-minute round now. And just for clarity, I was definitely one of the judges who went, what? All right, so Alec, back to you. 2 minutes whenever you start talking.
Hellraiser is that franchise that has a lot of lore and has these interesting concepts, but unfortunately has that issue that I think, obviously a lot of horror franchises have, where it just went entirely too long. You started getting into like numbers. Once you start getting into double digits of movies, it starts to get a little rocky there. And that's what Hellraiser kind of did with their franchise. The first two are fantastic. Second one's probably, it's up there with the first one. After that, the movie's kind of like they become this weird, horror love for BDSM and all that stuff, and that's great and all, but it's not what those first two movies were. Those first two movies introduced a lore, introduced a world that was insane, that you just didn't even concept, and like you couldn't even conceive. Like once you watched it, you had to like go back and watch it a few times. I really love those first two movies. And then the 2022 reboot, I think it tried to do that, but it was also bogged down by, I think, performances, the characters in that movie, as well as the obvious like CGI Pinhead. Like it was just, it's weird, and it threw you off. So it makes me want to go back to that kind of indie feel where you can really get into the practical effects and the screen and the writing of the movie and all that, of the movies and all that. Basket Case is a fantastic horror movie. It's indie. It just feels indie. It's gross. It's grimy. Like it's one of those movies that I think that with an indie take, I don't know what else you could do besides trying to like make a better character of the brother and the lead, and maybe give the brother like I wouldn't say a tragic backstory, but he already has a tragic backstory. It's one of those movies where it doesn't need an indie remake. And when I think of movies that need an indie remake, I want something that has already been bigger and needs to come small.
Time. All right, Jordan, you're up next.
Hi.
2 minutes.
Hi. Basket Case absolutely fits this question. And I think we'll get more to yours here in a second. Basket Case, like I said, is again, I want to agree with you again, man. Yeah, it's grimy, it's low budget. It doesn't need to be big budget here, as long as you have some spirited filmmakers behind the lens, which I know we do nowadays. Nowadays we are where we're about to get Toxic Avenger reboot, and a lot of people are so behind that. I know there's a fan base for this here. Hellraiser, we have seen constant Hellraisers all throughout the 90s and the 2000s, and including that Hulu reboot, which it's weird that you bash that, considering a lot of people consider that easily one of the best Hellraisers. They put it right there with 1 and 2, if not even subjectively better than what we got back in the day. But going back to Basket Case here, it is ripening for it here, man, because there is a fan base here. I'm not looking for this thing to become the #1 movie in America. I'm looking for it to kill on VOD, to kill on something like a Netflix or a Peacock. And again, you put in, give me like an Adam Scott, a Seth Green, just give me a fun character actor here, man, and that's what you need. And Elijah Wood would be really great too. Just it's about this guy who's fighting his Siamese twin who doesn't speak English, who is just a blob. You have some fun practical effects here, man. And again, this is also something too that is ripe with sequels because you learn more and more about the world. That that's not the only kind of deformed twin. It's not the only person that's deformed, and you find that out in what could be the second and third one here. And you tell me they're rebooting Hellraiser again. I'm gonna go again because we've seen it. We've seen Doug Bradley get replaced by a different Hellraiser. Now we have the female Hellraiser Pinhead girl. And then, like I said, I think it's weird that you want to reboot a movie that kind of worked and people are ready for the sequel. We did yours, and also too, I'll get more into probably in our debate here. I don't think indie is where you want to actually go with a movie like yours. It needs a little bit of a budget.
Time. All right, I'm learning so much because I haven't watched any of these franchises. So we're gonna go into the 4-minute open debate round. You guys know how this works. I'm not gonna keep talking. 3, 2, 1, go.
With Hellraiser getting an indie remake, I want to see someone really dive into the story of the Cenobites, of what the puzzle box is, and of the kind of people that it takes to either go after this puzzle box that brings forward these demons that only want pleasure through pain. I want to see I want to just dig deeper into that, and I want the practical effects back, man. It really is a lot of that comes down to that, the over CGI that we got in Hellraiser. Yes, a bunch of people might have liked it. I'm not talking about a bunch of people. I'm talking about what I guess I'm being a little selfish. I'm talking about what I want. I want to see, the practical effects. I want to see. I don't understand why it would be so hard to give a Pinhead with pins in his head and his or her head. I don't even give a damn who plays her or him. That's the beauty about the characters. But I want to see that lore going into the Leviathan that basically is the ruler of the world that the Cenobites are from. I want to see more of that, and I guess just make it more like a Lovecraftian story with like an A24 or something. I know that's not like indie, but it's something indie. With Basket Case is a great movie, and I like the grime that it has. To me, that helps the film. I think indie remake might try to like I said, go dig deeper into the brothers, and go more into that. But I think that the character of, I'm sorry, I forget his name, but of the Siamese twin, he's that way for a reason. It's implied. You don't need to have it bashed over your head with that. I think that's why it doesn't really need an indie remake. I'll go ahead and continue talking.
This is the open debate round. You're also supposed to talk.
Oh, did I miss my cue? I thought it was his 2 minutes.
It's the open 4 minutes, man.
We're in the 4 minutes.
Right.
Yeah,
I hope I don't get docked for that. I'll try to be polite. So I completely disagree with, first of all, what you're saying about your film needing to just be more indie. You even said it yourself. You want to learn more about the puzzle box, more about the Cenobites. You need a bit of a budget with that. You need a Hulu-like budget to get the story that you just said you wanted, which is also kind of what we got with Hulu here. If you went more indie, you know what you would get, Alec? You would get the 3rd through 9th Hellraisers that we just had that no one liked, that took several years in between each to get because they just hope people will watch it because it's called Hellraiser. The Basket Case is the perfect example of you just need spirited filmmakers to make a quirky game, and each time, hopefully, if the first one's successful, you can bump up that budget just a little bit, not much each time, to open up the world a little bit more and more. Your thing is ripe for what we already have, and what would need a little bit of a bigger budget here. That's why this one was one of the best, because they did cast actually a good cast. I like that leading lady a lot here. She shined in a couple movies last year. You know what I mean? And you mentioned CGI, which I also will battle you against here. Maybe some of the B characters, but that main Pinhead, that was a mix of CGI and real. You saw a real character in that. I never once was sucked out like I was with I Am Legend or other movies here. There was enough real in there where you saw an actual actor like you did back in the day with Doug Bradley.
So, like I said, I'm basically going by what I didn't like, and I did not like that Hellraiser movie. I don't think it was what you said it was, but I think that Basket Case, it's one of those movies that it works for what it is. It's one of those time capsules of a film that I think that works completely beautiful as it is.
You could absolutely make it even better than what it was, though. Here, man, let's admit it's a fun, super B level movie here. That I think if you had the right writers, the Reno 911 writers, maybe it would be so much better.
Sorry, JPO. Even though you forgot to talk for 30
seconds,
no,
absolutely.
I can't give you any extra time at the end. All right, we're gonna go into the 1 minute closing. And again, 60 seconds, one per person. So we're not going to cut each other off. We can both understand what round this is. Mark this down as one of the moments of the year for next season's awards. All right. 60 seconds when you. Oh, wait. Who is it going first?
It's Alec.
Alec, 60 seconds when you start talking.
What you're saying about Basket Case, I think that you can say that I could say the same thing about Hellraiser. It needs a spirited director who's willing to go more into that. You don't need, in order to go into the Cenobites and Leviathan, you don't need this gigantic budget. You don't need to have this like huge thing, but there's little things that I think a spirited director would do. With Basket Case, it's one of those like it's like a time capsule of what it was, what that was. It's one of those things when you watch it, when you go back and watch it, it's just perfect in what it is. Yes, it's a franchise, but it's one of those things where like franchises in the 80s and 90s, and I mean the 80s and the 70s, at a certain point, yes, they went off the rails. But Basket Case as a film, as a one film, is just already a great indie as it is. That I don't know if can be made better with witty dialogue and a cute backstory or something. I think it's something that stands on its own already and is doing perfectly
fine. Strike perfectly fine from the record, please. All right, Jordan, we're going to go to you next. 1 minute closing arguments on why your pick is the right pick.
Yes, sir. People that know about Basket Case love it, not because it is a great film. It's actually the filmmakers are new, they're not that great, and the leading man's not a great actor. But we still love that movie here because of the creativity, because of the humor that was at play there. You now take that movie and you put it in competent filmmakers' hands, and you give an actual actor, an Adam Scott, and an Adam Brody, all those Adams, and you can have a next level movie here that I think could be greater and greater as you expand upon in a franchise. Hellraiser, we've done it over a dozen times. We've seen it. We've explored the Bucks. We've explored the Cenobites. We know why Doug Bradley became the original Pinhead. We've seen it. Sometimes it works better than others. This last one we got, which had a bigger budget, is easily, I don't think there's any disagreement other than maybe you, because you're debating it, was one of the best Hellraisers that we got because it had a little bit of a bigger budget and they can actually make a real film, which is what I want to do with Basket Case that doesn't need a huge budget. But
all right, thank you, gentlemen, for a wonderful round. Sorry, that's on me. So, judges, hell of a round this time as well. Zach, I'm going to go to you first this time. Who gets your pick and why?
For this one, I went with Alec more because I feel like he sold me more on his franchise getting an indie reboot, especially maybe learning more about some of the other aspects of the franchise that aren't explored so far. So for that, I went with Alec.
For sure. Diaz, what do you think? Who's your
guy? With DJ come down you, I went with Jordan. I thought Jordan Lee painted to me of why his film should be made, because like the old movie, some people with new, like whether Adam Scott or anything, and he bring out the point with Hellraiser. He just got rebooted one, people loved it. Like what there to do when we already have so many Hellraiser and we only have a few Basket Case? Jordan.
All right, I guess I'm going to have to be the tiebreaker here. I actually also went with Alec. I think Jordan showed me more on wanting to see his movie and seeing what the madness was, whereas Alec was trying to tell me. I felt more from Alec of like, all right, this reboot can do this. instead of what the previous reboot has done and what previous reboots will do. So for that, I was more sold on an indie reboot from Alec, just based on which one I wanted to see more. From Jordan, it was more, all right, I can watch the old movie, but with Alex, it was like, no, this is a new path that we can take. So that was my take on it. So Alec, you do get the point. Bring your scores to 1-1. Thank you, judges. I'll see you guys in a few minutes here, and we'll bring back the competitors. All right, so that was a round. We're going to go to question 3. And question 3, we're going to go to another historic actor. We went to Will Smith in the first round. We're going to go to a different historic actor this time. But we're going to go on the other spectrum of it. We're going to say, what is the worst performance? And specifically, what is Jim Carrey's worst comedic performance? Yeah, he's had quite a few, just off the top of my head. So we're going to start with JPO. You're going to put your pick forward. It's 60 seconds, then 2 minutes.
What?
4-minute open, and then 60 seconds again.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say that.
Okay.
But that's what it is. So, JPO, 60-second opening whenever you're ready.
All right, so this is Alec for 30, right?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, so Jim Carrey, a man, how does this work? Who we all love, has unfortunately, like anyone, like me, he is flawed. When you prick him, does he not bleed? So I'm going to go with the incredible Burt Wonderstone, a movie that on paper should have been one of the best comedic movies of the year. You have him, you have Steve Carell. It should have been a banger, as the cool kids say. Instead, it is grating, and it is the most grating, sadly, when Jim Carrey is on screen here. He is a hybrid of David Blaine and Chris Angel, as if they had a baby, which again, on paper, might sound fun, but every time he is on screen, you're sadly ready for one of your heroes to get off screen here and go to the other characters who you also don't like, but at least you could stand those characters for the time being here. So incredible Burt Wonderstone may magically someday disappear from the vaults.
And time. Alec, we're going to go to you next. 60-second opening whenever you start.
Have you ever, been cleaning up your closet or whatever and find a shirt that maybe fit you back when you were a kid, and then you try it on? It normally doesn't go well. That's what happened with Dumb and Dumber 2. Jim Carrey decided to take everything that he did that was hilarious 20 years ago, tried it again, and was like, you know what? This younger generation is going to love this. And if they don't, at least the older generation will know when to laugh. And that's what Dumber and Dumber 2 was. They kind of just like redid the same things. Jim Carrey did the same gags. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, we're doing that again. Okay, got it. That was one of those moments that I also wanted Jim Carrey to get off of my screen. But the problem was he had a whole like hour and something and some change on my screen that I had to sit through, because the minute I saw that first gag, I was like, okay, this is what this is. Gotcha.
And time. All right, so we have Dumb and Dumber 2, incredible Burt Wonderstone. Not a sentence I ever imagined myself saying. So we're going to go to the 2-minute round. 2 minutes, JPO.
God damn it.
I'm not going to let it go. 2 minutes whenever you start talking.
Oh, maybe I won't talk. Oh, wait, I talked. I guess that counts. So yeah, I think the big difference between ours, I mean, let's put it on Front Street, Alec. We picked pretty good choices here. Dumb and Dumber 2 was, to me, it's always one of those movies where I never had it in my worst of the year list, but I definitely had it one of my biggest disappointments here. But I never found that to necessarily be Carrey or Daniels, because when it's them, they're still those characters. They know those characters like the back of their hand. And that's new. That's a robots joke. But they know those characters as better than anything here. It was this dialogue. It's kind of like you said. They they didn't really try anything new. They didn't try for the next generation or even their current generation. It's a badly written script here, but it's not to me necessarily a bad performance here. Jim Carrey, whose character is dubbed the brain rapist, every time he pops up, and the incredible Burt Wonderstone. God, I hate just saying that title. Like that title, I don't even like saying those words. I feel like Voldemort. If I say it out loud, the movie's gonna appear on my TV. It reminds me of Nick Swartzen from Grown Ups too. That is a weird reference of just you want it to work, you do, and it doesn't, and it's slightly because of him. I hate to say, I really do. I don't think Dumb and Dumber 2 doesn't work because of Carrey. I just think the movie doesn't work. It's Zoolander 2. It's several years too late with a bad script that should have been rewritten or thrown out and let the memory stand alone. But it's not Carrey's fault. An Incredible Burt Wonderstone, I hate to say, but I think it is. I never walked away from that movie. Like I said, I don't love Steve Carell's in it, but no, that's not true. I hate his character because it's just not that funny. He's not someone you very much like or dislike. He's just kind of whatever. But I never walked away like hating him. And Jim Carrey, every time he popped up on screen, man, it just there's just something about it where it literally saddened you.
Time. All right, we're gonna go to Alec next. 2 minutes whenever you start talking.
This is where we debate, right?
Swear to God.
Yeah, man. Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber 2. You're right. We picked two really bad movies. I went with the performance with this performance for Jim Carrey because I do think it was his fault. I think that yes, obviously this movie is what it is. It's a rehash of the first one, but that's not what annoyed me. It was the fact that I was still seeing these characters do this, and it just he didn't make it funny. It didn't come off as funny at all. The scene that I actually laughed out loud in, probably the only scene in The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, is that scene on the street with what is his name? I don't even know. I don't want to call him brain rapist. I don't want to get canceled. Excuse me, my dog barks. But yeah, I think that Jim Carrey actually, he's not the worst part about that movie. It's not his performance that makes me want to turn off this movie. It's the movie in general. Whereas Dumb and Dumber 2, no, it's not completely his fault, but it is him that makes me want to turn the movie off. It's him and Jeff Daniels, then collectively, I guess. But this is about Jim Carrey, and his performance didn't make me laugh at all. It's just and doing the same thing over and over again. It might be in the script, but that's when you come in as a performer and you got to figure out how you can make it better. And he didn't make it better as a performer. He made it what the film was, I guess, going for. With Incredible Burt Wonderstone as his character, it's supposed to be cringe. It's supposed to be like not necessarily funny. It's the to me the part that actually made me laugh was the body horror, that like the uncomfortable body horror, and just the way that he's playing it straight. That's what made me laugh about that scene. His performance, it's not supposed to be this like ha ha laugh out loud performance, because let's be honest, the movie's not ha ha laugh out loud, but that the scene that I actually do laugh in is the one that he's in, and he's not the one that makes you want to turn off the film. It's just the film in general.
And time. All right, gentlemen, great opening rounds. We are now going into the 4-minute open debate round. So both of you can talk in this 4 minutes. Again, 4-minute open debate round. I'm going to beat this dead horse until it's even more dead.
Okay, so Jordan's getting 2, and then I go the other 2.
Yes. 4 minutes. Just let me talk. I got this.
Sure. You know what? Just have fun with it.
You cool, crazy kids. There are fleeting moments, Alec. Fleeting moments in Dumb and Dumber 2 where it is just Harry and Lloyd, and it is the movie that we wanted. And there's moments where I'm like, I can see why at a table read this movie was made. I can see why they wanted to do this here. Never in Incredible Burt Wonderstone do I ever see why he read that script and said, okay, other than, hey, Steve Carell's in this. Hey, James Gandolfini's in this. I'll come in. I'll have some fun. Exactly. He took it for the paycheck. He took Dumb Dumber 2 for the love, and he tries actually in it here. And he knows that kid. Yeah, 100%. You see those two on a talk show, man. That's what kind of sparked this. They were both on, I don't know, Letterman or something, and they have so much chemistry, and they just like being around each other. And like I said, then they did the table read, and that's what sparked it. And there is something there when it's just those two characters, and then when it's not Kathleen Turner, who's not very funny in this, or Rob Riggle, who can be a great villain, 21 Jump Street, but then when it's badly written, not this. That's where it falls apart. It's all around Harry and Lloyd here. That's where this movie falls apart here. Incredible Bird Wonderstone never totally works, but you're never grading on it until Jim Carrey, and until this over the top human being that doesn't exist in real life in any way here. It takes the worst of a David Blaine archetype, the worst
Chris Angel
of that Chris Angel archetype. Yeah, but it takes the worst and then overdoes it to the point of awkwardness. No, because then it also gets overly sexualized and whatnot, because it's got to be a raunchy PG-13 comedy, and that's not what you want to see Jim Carrey do either.
And the entire part of Dumb and Dumber 2 is he's trying to sleep with the daughter of his best friend who's 20 years
and
younger.
Only that character. Hey, you didn't hate it in Yes Man, did you? Where he shouldn't be with Zooey Deschanel.
What you didn't like about him in Incredible Burt Wonderstone is what he's doing in Dumb and Dumber 2. Only it's creepier because I saw this character 20 years ago, and he was doing this then. It's
right, and that's what Lloyd would do. That is that character too. At the end of the day, though, that is Lloyd. Like, you don't ever watch and go, "Whoa, they made a really weird decision with Lloyd." No, they're just like, they could have, the script could have been better, but it's never his fault though here. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's still in it, man. He's still in it to win it here, instead of just for Incredible Wonderstone. Hey, put me in long black hair. Put me in makeup and some Hot Topic clothes, and that is the character, and I'm gonna just do these sexualized jokes.
In Dumb and Dumber 2, he's cringy, he's gross. Yes, he's all that in the original, but it's up to Jim Carrey as a performer to bring a little bit more to that and get me to laugh, at least get me to laugh. I didn't laugh at those certain parts.
The only times you do laugh is because of him. When he does elevate the script, he's unfortunately not able to do it as much as we would want as fans of the first.
But in the Incredible Burt Wonderstone, he's doing exactly what you want from that character, which is to be over the top, to make fun of the worst of those guys,
But there's saturation. There's over the top, and then there's just unbelievability, and it's just not funny too. Like, you know what I mean? And at no point do you ever think that this character would actually be with these other characters.
I did find that funny though, because that's that moment of like, of what if those two, if the classic magician and the weird this guy Chris Angel guy actually met, it's overdone. Yes,
on paper, yes, I like that idea, but no, but they Hollywoodized it. They made it to where now this character isn't just the new guard. He is this unbelievable thing that we've never quite seen. He's Chris Angel, but with even more quirks, even more sexual.
He's absolutely funny, and he nails the part in that scene with Dumb and Number 2.
No, that's why they took him out.
And time. All right, gentlemen, we're gonna move on to the final 60 seconds from each of you, and in that 60 seconds, we're gonna have JPO go first, followed by Alec. You guys are going to have 60 seconds to close your arguments out and tell us why the other person is wrong. Alec, JPO, whenever you're ready.
I go? Okay, I go. So talking about our movies here, I jumped right to Incredible Bird Wonderstone because I remember this is where, for the first time ever in my life, not only did I dislike a Jim Carrey movie, it's happened before, it's probably happened since, but I disliked it sadly because of him, because of his performance here, because of not only the way it's written, but the way he decides to perform it, and even to a fact, the degree that he took it, because he was being slightly more picky at this time, and you're almost mad that like this is the thing that he decided to do. Dumb and Dumber 2, it has those moments, especially when it is just Harry and Lloyd, that you see why he decided to do this, and he is Lloyd. And there's moments where you do champion this flick because you can see why you were excited day one when you walked into the theater, and it just unfortunately doesn't execute it very well. But it's never his fault. It's never his performance per se. It's the things that are written for him. It's the characters that are around him that also just do not work. But it is not Carrey's fault. Well, Burt Wonderstone it is.
Oh, sorry, forgot to unmute myself there. All right, Alec, we're going to go to you next. 60 seconds whenever you start talking for your closing argument.
This is Jim Carrey's worst comedic performance, I think, because it's something that we'd already seen. There wasn't anything new. It didn't make me laugh. It was just okay. But with Incredible Burt Wonderstone, he's actually the funny part of that movie. I'm telling you, that scene that he's in, it's one of those movies that it's you're laughing because you're in on the joke. It's one of those things where you're in on the joke, and he knows that you're, and as Jim Carrey knows that you're in on the joke, so he overplays it, and he has fun with it, I think, and that's why it's a little bit funnier than with Dumb and Dumber 2. With Dumb and Dumber 2, it was just kind of sad. It was just like, okay, I get it, I understand, but there's nothing else there. Like, it just doesn't. There's nothing there that made me laugh. Yes, you have the clear chemistry between Carrey and stuff, but you don't have that comedic timing, that comedic performance that I wanted from Jim Carrey, that I was expecting and completely got, which was entirely disappointing.
Time. All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll send you to the back, and I'll bring forward the judges again. Chris, we're going to start with you. What did you think of this round? Who gets your point and why?
I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about this round in a way.
No worries.
Well, I am going to go with really Jordan. I read up he pointed out what the criteria. What is Jim Carrey's worst comedic performance? Just say he does gain nothing to Burt Wonderstone. They say that with Dumb and Dumber 2, really Jim Carrey was trying, and he was doing what the script was telling him to do, and he tried to do the best he can. But Wonderstone, he was just putting it in a movie that apparently had James Gandolfini in it. But Jordan.
Yeah, he was in it. Zach, we're going to go to you next. Who gets your point and why?
You're going to have to thank Madi, because I'm going with Alec. More because he said, like, this is the same stuff that he saw in the original 20 years ago, and they didn't. Nothing really changed in that. And unlike Burt Wonderstone, you had to stay with Jim Carrey the entire movie and to keep seeing these played out jokes. So for that, I went with Alec.
I hate when you guys make me think. Okay, so for me, this was a pretty back and forth one. I feel like you guys both agree with me on that one. But for me, I think the point went to JPO for this one, mainly because it brought up the point that the performance is fine, the movie around it isn't very good, whereas Burt Wonderstone, it's not good, and he's a big piece of the reason why. So that was like the one point that really like teetered it over the edge for me. But again, great performance by both these guys, not by Jim Carrey in either of these movies. Yeah, all right, let's just move on. I don't want to talk about these two movies anymore. All right, so thank you, judges. So we're going to have at least one more round. Maybe two more, we'll see. We'll see how many times I bring up the joke about Jordan not knowing how many minutes are in the round and when he's supposed to talk in. So, question number 4.
I didn't hear the intro. I thought he was still on his stew.
You've had 6 matches.
I was looking up a character name on another screen.
You've had 6 matches so far, not including exhibition shit. You should know you've done before, so you know how the show works.
You're human, man.
The thing is, I saw you you like typing something. So I was like, oh, maybe he just didn't hear like me like stop talking or not paying attention.
I thought like I either figured A, like you ran out of things to say, or B, but he was just like he was muted. Like I really was like, oh, that's weird that no one's talking right now.
This is fun.
At least during the 420 round, I was high, and that's why I forgot what was going on. Like, this is a regular match. Like, there's no. Well, we don't think there's any.
I'm not high.
I don't know what state you're in.
I am.
But...
Arizona.
All right, I'm just gonna. Question number 4. Another legendary actor. Just gonna keep going and see how much Aaron wants to cut out. What is the best film with Liam Neeson that was released between the years 2015 and 2019? Now, for some people, that might be like, oh, that's not a very long range. No, this is a long range for Liam Neeson since he puts out 30 movies a year. So we're going to go first to Alec this time, right?
Yes.
I'm losing track at this point. I still can't stop thinking about it.
It's only 1 minute, right?
Yeah. So, question number 4: best Liam Neeson film released in the last or within that time frame. Alec, you're gonna go first. Alec knows the rules, so I'm not gonna say it again.
I must be a bad movie fan because I didn't realize Liam Neeson had made so much in that amount of time. These are actually 2 new movies for me that I had not seen until this question. So I'm just gonna go right out with it, and I went with 2019's, right? It was 2019, I believe. Ordinary Love. Yes, it was 2019. Ordinary Love. It's just a real small, quiet film about a couple after his wife gets the probably most devastating news that one could get, and that's a breast cancer diagnosis, and you're just kind of seeing them go through life. Go about life after this moment, and it's a beautiful, quiet, subtle movie that I enjoyed from beginning to end, and I'll yield the rest of my time.
All right, Alex is going to yield the 10 seconds or whatever it ended up being. JPO, we're going to go to you next. You get 60 seconds or less if you want to use it like that. Whenever you start talking.
So our boy Liam Neeson's made a couple films, but as far as the best, I went with also one of the honestly one of the best Martin Scorsese films, and I'm not just saying of that time frame. I'm also saying that I think of all time, Silence from 2016 here. It is a movie. First of all, a great cast on top of Neeson, Adam Driver, and Andrew Garfield. This is Andrew Garfield's best performance that I've ever seen him in, and that is saying something if you've seen other movies. 2 Jesuit priests who go after Liam Neeson's character here, who for the first time is starting to question his own beliefs here, and this is another one, man, where it really gets you thinking. It's one of those movies where you kind of almost, even though it is a thinking, talking piece, you almost want to see it with somebody else because you almost want to have a discussion afterwards here, man. About faith, about life and everything. And it is also, to me, one of the most beautiful looking movies too. It's gorgeously shot.
And time. All right, so we're going to go into the 2-minute round. So this is Silence versus Ordinary Love. Both of these are underseen. So if you guys have not seen these movies, I do recommend seeing both of them because they are both very, very well done. So 2-minute rounds. Alec, you're going to go first. Only Alec speaks in this round. Time starts whenever you start talking, Alec.
Yeah, man. Ordinary Love was kind of a surprise for me. It's I don't want to get too into it, but about how I chose this movie, but I was not expecting this whenever I first watched it, when I first read about it. The performances are great. You have Liam Neeson playing the husband is amazing, and his wife, who's played by Leslie Manville. 2 performances that I was not expecting at all. Really hit me in the feels, and it's one of those movies where what it is when you're going in, and it doesn't matter. It just lands. Everything hits. The performances, the shots, it's the subtlety of this movie. It's a real quiet but heartbreaking at the same time, and it just is from top to bottom is a great movie. I might be shooting myself in the foot with this one because he hasn't done his 2 minutes, but I'm gonna say it. Silence is a great film. It's Scorsese. What else do you expect? but for a Scorsese film, it does fall flat for me. It doesn't grip me the way I want. Maybe I'm just accustomed to a certain kind of Scorsese film, but I didn't get. I didn't. I understood and got the performances. The performances were fantastic, but in terms of as a film as a whole, if we're talking about acting, it'd be close. But as a whole, I think that Ordinary Love is just a little bit better. Like, just lands a little bit more. Silence can be, when it's a long movie, it's a long film. But what do you expect? You can't go into a Scorsese film and not expect a long movie. But it does at times drag, makes you kind of like, okay, like I'm liking this, but I'm want to kind of go a little bit longer. Ordinary Love, it's very small, it's succinct, it's not very long. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes, or an hour and a half actually. So it's a great movie, and I think it's a little bit better than
time. JPO, we're going to go to you for your 2 minutes. Whenever you start talking.
Silence made it on over 25 top 10 lists of the year, including the writers at RogerEbert.com and even our boy William Bibiani. It's cinematography by Rodrigo Prieto. Again, this is a movie that reminds me, it's an epic. Unfortunately, not enough movies get this kind of budget, but because Martin Scorsese is that filmmaker, he was able to get a budget for a movie like this that we don't get enough of, because again, this is an epic put on screen here. It's something that I wish I had actually seen in a theater. Unfortunately, even with a big ass TV like some other people might have, I wish I had seen this in a theater here. The word epic comes to mind here. It's funny because Alec used the word, it's not really the Scorsese that I'm kind of attuned to, and again, I kind of agree but that's what I liked here. If you had said this is directed, by somebody else, or if you had, tell me this, if I didn't know up front that this was a Scorsese film, I would not have necessarily have guessed that here, man. Although you can definitely see some remnants of like coming to his like 80s work here as well here. My movie at times can be hard to watch, but you can't look away. And Scorsese, I think too, to kind of go against what Alex said, is he's great at knowing how to pace a long movie. Wolf of Wall Street being another example of a very long movie here, but you are in it, man. There's not wasted moments here. You're not armchair editing this movie going, I could see why we could cut that character and cut this 20 minutes, cut that 30 minutes here. What is on screen for that length of time deserves to be there. The thing about his movie is kind of like he said, it's kind of it's a good tale, but you do kind of you move on from it. You know what I mean? It is kind of a typical watch here, and it doesn't really beat any new drums. It doesn't really leave you kind of wondering. You get what you get, and it's good, but Silence is another beast.
Time. All right, again, both wonderful movies, Ordinary Love and Silence. You guys are now in the 4-minute open debate round where you guys can argue back and forth with each other. Jordan, do I need to repeat those rules for you, or are you good?
Can you say it in the form of a sentence?
4-minute open debate round where both of you guys can talk as much as you want against each other in that 4 minute. I'm stopping with this.
Origin.
Right.
Whenever you guys start.
Okay, Origin. I was about to say that. Okay. To go with what kind of what I was ending on just now here. Again, like you said, for my movie, I will say back to you. I'm not trying to knock Ordinary Love. It is a good movie here. It is worth checking out. Underseen, as even Medea has admitted to. But like I said, it is what it is, kind of to a large degree here. You're not really ever shocked from the beginning to the end here. Not to say it's predictable, but like it doesn't necessarily pull any punches that you haven't seen in other movies here. Silence, I think, does. I really think there aren't many movies, especially recently, that are made like this, that look like this, that were able to have the budget it needed, that has the 3 actors here. I really don't think. Again, Neeson. We joked before that Neeson's got a lot of movies to choose from. Haha. He really doesn't if you're going for best. Like I think can maybe probably pick the best. Maybe there's a couple others you could argue, but like there's the list of best is small. It's probably these two, but again, he's something different. You haven't seen this Neeson. You haven't seen this Garfield before. Even Driver, I think pulls up to another level here. And it's so gorgeous looking too here. While your movie's in no way shot bad, it's shot well. It's shot competently. This you could see that there is thought put into every shot of my movie, every frame.
Yeah, I mean it's Scorsese's, with one of his like dream works that he wanted to make. I understand that, and
you can tell the passion. You can see it.
It's fantastic. It's something about those small movies that you just know. And it might be a flaw of mine where it's just something about those movies that just stick with me. I might be getting old. That's probably what it is. But yeah, man, those small like just
what are you, 22?
stories
What are you?
of those people. No, 29. Of those like of those just little stories, those everyday stories that don't get told enough, or you don't know about that. You watch from beginning to end, and it's just it's captivating. It's beautiful. It brings a tear to your eye. Silence brings a tear to your eye, man. But it does deal with some heavy stuff.
It does. It can be hard to watch, stuff. And even from early on in the movie, it can be hard to watch here. But I think, unfortunately, for better or for worse, movies like yours, we do get more of because they are more easily accessible. It doesn't take that much to go, hey, I got a good director, I got a good couple actors and a tight script. Cool, here you go. A movie like mine, unfortunately, only got made really because Scorsese championed it. And this was a movie that he wanted to make a while ago, and even then, not that they fought him on it, but he kind of had to build up even more of a part and put some of his own money into it and whatnot. So, and again, I just think that passion shows, and like this is another movie of that, like, wow, man, I wish we had more of. You know what I mean? I wish, budgets were given to movies like this, and not just not obviously not our Marvel or anything, but like not just movies like that we were able to get budgets, because this is like an old school epic. You know what I mean?
And yes, this is one of those movies that, like you said, that gets made a lot because it is a common story. Anyone can make this movie, but the performances by Liam Neeson and Leslie Manville are what brings this movie above what it normally would be. Most of these stories do get told and get put on the Hallmark Channel. One second. And these anywhere in anyone else's hands, this movie is like I said, on the Hallmark Channel or on every other.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I think that
no. Like I said, there's other movies like this, you know what I mean, where they're not to compare it to like a Marriage Story or even I'm trying to think of the name, but anywho, there's other like movies do get a chance because, like I said, they're way more accessible and easier to make than a thing like Silence here. So we do see more movies like yours because they're way more easier to make in a way. Not trying to knock it and say like they're easy, but it is easier to get financing. Where I'm telling a modern tale with, you know what I mean?
And another thing is, like, I guess that, not even really like a big takeaway, but like, it's just one of those movies. I don't know if I can like say, hey man, watch this movie. But this is one of those movies that I feel like I can like get and spread the word, and people will just will fall in love with it.
Get different friends. Get different friends.
All of his friends are on this call. Like, let's. All right. So we're gonna go into the 60-second closing before any of us get in trouble for anything else. So 60-second closing. Who the fuck is going first? I can't even remember anymore.
Me.
Yeah.
Alec? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Alec, 60 seconds closing whenever you start talking.
This film is a universal film. I think it can speak to anyone. It draws you in with the performances. It breaks your heart. It brings tears to your eyes in the best and worst ways. And I think is one of those relatable films that anyone can watch and just really enjoy. Silence. It's an acquired taste. You got to be in the mood for that kind of film. You got to want to watch that kind of film. Not that kind of film, but one of those films that Scorsese is making at the time. It's not one that like I'll go back and rewatch all the time. I will go back and rewatch Ordinary Love, if not just for the performances, but for the story as well. Silence, it's a one-off. It's one that I can watch. Say like, man, I'm happy I watched that. I don't ever want to watch that again. It's as much as a beautiful shot. It has beautiful shots in it. I think that the subtlety and the way the film that Ordinary Love is filmed with, I think just puts it above in my eyes and makes it the better film to me.
And time. JPO, close out this fourth question with your 60 seconds, please.
I mean, both of our movies are, to a degree, very much mood pieces here. This isn't, this isn't a comic book film or a family film. You're not bringing, mom and dad necessarily, unless they're the right mom and dad and it's the right mood here. You want to talk about mine and rewatches here. I gotta again disagree with that because I think yours is one where You will enjoy it. You will love the performances here. I think we both have tremendous performances here, so it's hard to really say who's got better performances here. But I think the thing that edges mine out too is I think it is something I would go back to because of the dialogue that's in there, and it's a thinker. It's something you do want to actually talk about with friends. Maybe not your friend if all they want to watch is Transformers, but if you have movie friends like us, yeah, I totally would want to hear what Chris or what Madi thinks about it. You know what I mean? Like, and have a discussion here and rewatch it again. Maybe not right away. It's not a movie I'm going to watch back to back, but it's a movie I will watch again another time and hear about it and maybe even see a different perspective here. You've seen the perspective of Ordinary Love. Maybe you haven't seen all of Silence.
And time. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll put you guys in the back and we will determine the winner of this round. And for that, we're going to go to Zach first. Zach, who's your pick in this honestly great round of debate?
I went with Jordan for this one, and it's more because he talked about Ordinary Love is more of a movie has been made more, and while Silence is one that will just draw you in. And for both those reasons, that's why he gets my vote.
All right, Chris. Don't make me think or make me think. Your choice. What's going on?
Oh no, you don't have to think. I went with Jordan well. I just heard more about Silence from him than I did about Ordinary Love. Alec just said Ordinary Love is great, a film that underseen, but Jordan Payne and Lee Mason and Garfield and Driver, the scenery, the message, everything gave me a broader picture of why it's the best Lee Mason film late that year. So Jordan.
All right, so I don't have to think on this round. And with that gives Jordan the point this round. And your winner, Jordan Pierce Owens, my guy. How are you feeling right now, man?
Oh man, now good. I love Alec as a person. A great debater too, man. There was never a question where I was like, hell yeah, I got this. You know what I mean? So it was always like literally waiting for someone to flip their board. Like, is it a Jathan? Hey, what we got going here? So tremendous opponent here. Literally the one I wanted to win Basket Case was the one I lost. Because go see Basket Case now. That's a wacky ass movie. I think would be great for a remake. But no, I mean he made smart choices here. If you haven't seen the movies he mentioned, well, that's not true because we also mentioned some bad movies. The good ones we mentioned, if you haven't seen the good ones, go see the good ones here. But no, I had a good time. Appreciate Aaron for setting everything up. Appreciate you for hosting. Thank you to Zach and Chris, our judges here. It's a good time. A sweater, a barn burner. Appreciate it.
I think barn burner is the better answer than a sweater. That just makes me feel like I'm walking out into the cold.
I'm a fat man. I sweat very easily, but luckily I'm inside the house. I didn't sweat, but emotionally sweated.
You do go up to 4 and 3.
Yes, there we go. I like that score
back
better.
Up over 500.
Yes.
And we will be seeing you in the Battleground realm fairly soon. I'll let Aaron deal with the details of scheduling and all that. But real quick, is there anyone you want to slam down against?
Oh man, I'm definitely the kind of competitor that says like throw whoever at me. But yeah, I mean, just anyone I haven't faced, definitely down to do it. Even some rematches here, man. Those 3 losses, I'd love to avenge them. I know Chad Webb's one of them. If I can ever get me a Chad Webb rematch, that would be cool. But I'm very happy to debate anybody here. Always looking forward to it.
I mean, I'm sure Chad would love the challenge as well. And you know what? You're in the win column, so you're that much closer to facing off against Chad. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to promise anything because I'm not the one who makes the decisions.
It's all
which
good.
is a good thing, by the way. You really don't want me to try. You see how I ran this show? Fuck out of here. All right. Again, Jordan, always a pleasure seeing you on screen.
Thank you, buddy.
And now we will go to the unfortunate loser because this match unfortunately did have to have a loser. It's not Jordan. It is Alec. Alec, really well fought match, man, but unfortunately didn't come out with the victory this time. How are you feeling?
Man, that was a tough battle. That one took a lot out of me. It was great. I had a good time. I'm kicking myself for that first question. I really do feel like I got that first question. But it is what it is.
That's how it goes, man. You know what it is. Like a different set of judges, different one different point that you make throws it over the edge. So, but you brought it every single round, man. Like there wasn't a single round that I was like, yeah, this is a clear winner. Like for me, all of them were like 51-49 or some shit like that. So really well fought match. Unfortunately, you do drop to under 500, but you still have 2 knockouts with your 3 wins. So, that gives you some credit right there. Who is someone that you want to face off against to try and get back over or back to 500, and then we'll worry about the next part later?
Yeah, man. I don't really know because, like you said, my record's weird. I have the 2 KOs, but I have an under 500 record. It's kind of hard, and the people that I've lost to are like the top people. Like I've lost to Jeremy, I've lost to Amaru. So there's just like I have to work my way up there. So I'm really just kind of waiting for a tournament. Get on a run. That's what happened at the end of last year. Just get in a tournament, get on a run, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So look out for that.
All right, fair enough.
And watch bad movies because you never know when you might have to argue them here.
I'm not going to condone that, but if you want to watch bad movies, I'm not going to tell you not to. That's just. I had to watch Battlefield Earth and Baby Geniuses for a debate, and then the question didn't even come up. So you don't really need to watch that. You know how shit my week was that week. Anyways, again, always a pleasure, Alec. Love having you on here, and thank you guys for watching. There's a lot that goes into making these matches, and a lot that goes into putting them out and things like that. Thank you to our judges, Chris Diaz and Zach Shelton. Thank you to our competitors, Alec Miller and Jordan Pierce Owens. Thank you to Aaron for all the stuff that is behind the scenes. As always, you guys can like, subscribe, comment what your favorite moment of the match was that was not whatever the hell JPO was smoking. Because this match is one of those gong shows that we'll talk about in a year's time when the awards come out. My name has been Madi Raymond. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on the Battleground.